Well, everybody, the last time the Browns were in the playoffs, the gentleman with me right now is the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns over at Heinz Field. And what an afternoon that was for the Browns and the Steelers in a memorable game. It's Kelly Holcomb. Kelly, I'll tell you what, we're back in the playoffs finally. It took a while, but by golly, we can't shake those Steelers. We're back at Heinz Field.
Yeah, it's amazing. I've had a bunch of interviews the last 2 weeks, but it's absolutely amazing that it's taken 18 years to get back. You know, when you're playing in that game, you never think that that's going to happen. But I'm just happy for the fans. I told somebody yesterday, I'm happy for the fans. I'm happy for the organization. There's no better place to play football. And hey, it's the dreaded Steelers. We got to go back at it again. I know we got some issues that have come up,
Yeah.
over yesterday, and I'm sure it's happening today too. But hey, you can't cry over spilled milk. Got to go out and play the best you can.
Let's go back. When the Browns made the playoffs that year, you were a part of getting them into it because Tim Couch broke his leg against the Atlanta Falcons in a game that the Browns needed to win and needed some other things to happen. And you pulled them through along with a big run by William Green, beat Atlanta, and it was your job at that point. You had to drive the bus.
Yeah, that was you're absolutely right. I remember Tim going down. I had to come in. I came in at the beginning of the year, I guess, a little bit, and it wasn't my best game, but we had to have that game, and obviously William having that long run, and then there were some mistakes I made, but it didn't hurt us. Made a play or two here at the end to get us past, and all you can ask for is a chance. You just get a chance in the playoffs to keep going and keep advancing, and we gave ourselves a chance. We gave ourselves our chance with the Atlanta Falcons, and then the next week giving ourselves a chance because we were up in the Pittsburgh game. So that's all you can ask for in the playoffs. I'm just so happy that they're back.
Kelly, I got to tell you, in the middle of the week, as you guys got ready to play the Steelers, and you were in because Tim was out, you're going to be the quarterback, and it was Wednesday, and the game was coming up on Sunday, and so we're in doing all the interviews, and your quarterback coach, great guy, Carl Smith, walks by me, and I said, how do you think Kelly's going to play on Sunday against the Steelers? And he said, he's going to be lights out. And you were. You threw for over 400 yards.
Wow, yeah, that's Coach Smith's my guy. I still keep in touch with Coach Smith, but I do remember. I think it was that Wednesday. I remember it was supposed to snow in Pittsburgh, which it did. And I think
Yeah.
that Wednesday we had a big snowstorm, and we went outside and practiced in the snow. And I tell people all the time, it's being a backup to a guy, to anybody. It's kind of tough because during the week you don't get any of the reps. So
Right.
you have to whatever you have to do. You have to watch more film. You have to stay out with some guys and go over the plays because you don't get any of the plays. You just do the go against the defense. And then that week I felt really good because I got all the reps. So I felt really good about what was happening. I'd played earlier in the year, and I'd played with those guys in games, and I felt really good about what the Steelers were doing. I got a lot of prep work that week, and it's just different when you're a starter than when you're a backup because you're getting all the reps. So I felt really prepared and focused for that game.
Kelly, tell me this. When you guys were building up that lead in the playoff game, were you always saying to yourself, it's not enough? We have to keep adding on. These are the Steelers?
Absolutely. I mean, you never. It's professional football, and I tell people all the time this. It used to be a rivalry, and I hate to say this because you're in the Cleveland area, but you got to win a couple of games in a rivalry, and Pittsburgh has kind of killed us. Over the past decade. I mean, we haven't had many wins, but it was just it was. Those guys are supposedly our rivals, but it was something special getting to play those guys. It was just special for us because I do remember that year. It was kind of significant because Mr. Lerner was the owner of the team, and he had gotten sick. And I can remember when he came in one day the night before a game, and his whole deal was he wanted us to make the playoffs. So it was kind of destined for us to make the playoffs that year. And I feel, somebody asked me about that the other day, and that's the thing that I remember about that year is that, he really wanted us to get to the playoffs because he was really sick, and we were able to allot him that so he could see us in the playoffs. So, all the guys that you play with, it's just something special, and we were able to do it. Just didn't think it would take this long to get back.
Yeah. Tell me this. When you got the ball back late in the game and they had taken the lead and there wasn't a lot of time left, did you have confidence that you could get down the field and give Dawson a chance to tie that thing up?
Absolutely. I mean, the way we were playing on offense, they couldn't stop us. I mean, we stopped ourselves at the play that Dennis dropped. But even with that, I felt if we would have had another timeout, I can remember Andre King, the last play of the game, trying to get out of bounds. If
Right.
we would have had another timeout, if we'd have saved one of those timeouts, then we would have had an opportunity to kick the field goal. Because I mean, they weren't really doing anything to stop us. I felt like as an offense, we were really prepared. We were clicking that day, and we did some things in our scheme that helped us out. But if we had another timeout, you never know what's going to happen.
You came kind of along with Bruce Arians, right? When he came over to the Browns,
Yes, yeah,
he
I
wanted to
did.
bring you alongside and thought it was going to be a good fit. Did you enjoy when you stepped back? Did you enjoy your time with the Browns and being around Cleveland?
I absolutely enjoyed my time. I think it's a great place to play football. There's no better place to play. And I know everybody in the NFL when they're playing, they say that about each individual city, but there's no greater place to play than in Cleveland. To be in Ohio, where the National Football League Hall of Fame is. I mean, it's just it's a great place to play. That's why I'm so happy, because the fans are so loyal. This is really funny, Jimmy. I got a friend up here that's a professor over at MTSU, and he texted me during the season, because I coach high school, and he texted me and he asked, "Hey, I'm over here in Franklin, and I'm at this pub, and all these guys are Browns backers over here." He said the guy that owns the place is one of my friends. I become friends with him. He's a Browns guy. He actually lived where I lived. He was from Avon Lake,
Yeah.
and he moved down here. And he said, "Would you be interested in coming to watch a game with these guys?" So I said, "Sure, but I can't do it now." So 2 weeks ago, when they played the Jets, I went up and I watched the game with the Browns backers. And I was only going to stay for a little bit. And I got so interested in the game that I stayed the whole dadgum game, which was really fun. You forget just how fanatical those guys are, man. I mean, there was everybody in there, and the Titans didn't play until later on that night. So usually it's Titans and Browns, but that day it was all Browns in the restaurant, and they got the Let's Go brownies, and I'm like, wow, it's really amazing, because you got so many Browns people across not only this country but across the world, and a lot of
Right.
Browns backers organizations. It's just it's really cool, and there's no better fans in the world than Cleveland fans when you're winning.
Well, I got to tell you, Baker Mayfield sits in a pretty good cockpit, as they say. He's got a lot around him. I think you'd love being the quarterback of that offense, handing that ball off to Nick Chubb or Kareem Hunt, or throwing it to Jarvis Landry or Odell Beckham Jr. when he's all put back together and healthy once again, where those tight ends and playing in front of that offensive line, they can score.
Yes, he does have a lot of. He's got a lot of weapons there, and I felt that that year that we went to the playoffs, I really felt like if we could have
Right.
kept the team together, we had a good core nucleus of guys that, even though they left, and some of them, I guess with the salary cap issues, you talking to them, they would have stayed for lesser money, so they really loved being there. They thought we had something going, and then, for whatever reason, it got dismantled. But there was a lot of good players, and I just think if we would have added a couple of skill positions and
Yep.
added some more pieces, that we could have done that for 3 or 4 or 5 years past that. That's kind of the window, for NFL teams nowadays. And I felt like we had a chance to do that, and it just didn't happen.
Hey, Kelly, thanks. It's great seeing you, talking to you, and I know you'll be pulling for the Browns in this one coming up against the Steelers.
Absolutely, gentlemen. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.